This is NDTV, and you're watching Classics.
Hello and welcome to Reality Bites. We continue with our special focus for the month on Jammu and Kashmir. This week, talks on greater autonomy for the state officially kicked off between the National Conference government and the centre's emissary Arun Jaitley. But there were early signs of just how difficult it will be to create any common ground, down to disagreeing on whether these talks are about devolution or autonomy. On this episode, we travel back in history and re-examine the entire autonomy debate, as well as the political contradictions that will make it difficult to reach any real breakthrough. Outsiders to the state may have missed it, but this was yet another small sign of Kashmir's unique history. As Farooq Abdullah took charge of the party, the political statement was in this ceremony's opening song. May the flag of Kashmir fly high, it said. This song became popular as the Valley's national anthem in the 1950s when Sheikh Abdullah was in jail and his party, the National Conference, was fighting for a plebiscite in the state. It set the stage for what was to follow.
तुम लाख करो, तुम लाख दबाने की कोशिश करो, मगर जब तक जम्मू कश्मीर और लद्दाख के लोगों के लिए तुम ऑटोनॉमी नहीं दोगे, तुम यहाँ पे अमन नहीं कर सकते, नहीं हो सकता। और ये सिर्फ एक नारा नहीं है, जैसे हिंदुस्तान की आजादी का सिर्फ नारा नहीं था, यहाँ के हजारों लोगों ने खून दिया है इस नारे के लिए कि हम हासिल करके रहेंगे ऑटोनॉमी, तुम जो मर्जी है करो।
Of course, this was not the first time that the party had raised the autonomy war cry. 2 years ago, the State Assembly had voted overwhelmingly in favour of autonomy. And so, when the Assembly met for a special session in Srinagar this past week, everyone wondered, would the National Conference pull out its trump card again? But it seemed that this session at least would pass without any dramatics. Miles away in New Delhi, the centre suddenly declared that it was ready to talk business.
प्रधानमंत्री जी ने तय किया है कि हमारी तरफ से हमारे पूर्व विधि मंत्री श्री अरुण जेटली वह इस दृष्टि से जम्मू कश्मीर के सरकार से और जम्मू कश्मीर के अलग अलग पार्टियों से इस बारे में बातचीत करने की प्रक्रिया शुरू करेंगे तुरंत, सो दैट जल्दी से जल्दी हम ये निर्णय कर लें।
Ironically, at that very hour, inside Kashmir's assembly, leading the protests against autonomy were members of Mr. Advani's own party.
देखिए, autonomy ना मिलने वाली है, ना राधा नाचेगी, ना नोमन तेल होगा, ये याद रखिए। ये भूल जाएं, मुंगेरी लाल के सपने जो ये देख रहे हैं, ये हमेशा जब इलेक्शन आती है, ये ड्रामे शुरू कर देते हैं। autonomy के खिलाफ, pre-53 के खिलाफ हमने सबसे बड़ा हीरा भारतीय जनसंघ का श्यामा प्रसाद मुखर्जी का निर्माण किया है। और वो श्यामा प्रसाद मुखर्जी जिसके असिस्टेंट श्रीमान अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी हुआ करते थे, आज हिंदुस्तान के प्राइम मिनिस्टर हैं। वो उनकी कुर्बानी को कभी जाया नहीं जाने देंगे, ये हमें पूरा भरोसा है। और जब तक अटल जी इस कुर्सी पर बैठे हैं, कोई माई का लाल यहाँ पर ऑटोनॉमी नाम की जो शय है उसके बारे में सोच नहीं सकता। इन्होंने यहाँ से करके भेजा था, उन्होंने आउटराइटली रिजेक्ट किया इसको।
And out on the streets of Srinagar, for a cynical people, this was reason to believe that yet again autonomy would remain only a word in the air.
मैं अर्ज़ कर लूँगा, अभी आपको मालूम बीजेपी की जो नई रहनुमाई कमेटी बनी है, प्रेसिडेंट बना है, उसने आते ही उन्होंने फरमाया कि एनडीए का एजेंडा कुछ भी हो, बीजेपी का एजेंडा है आर्टिकल 370 ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया, उसको हटाना। और जेटले साहब उसी टीम के स्पोक्समैन हैं।
The telltale signs of Kashmir's special status within the Indian Union are everywhere if you look carefully. For example, here at the city's assembly, Jammu and Kashmir's own flag stands shoulder to shoulder with the Indian flag. This is the only state in India which has its own flag as well as its own constitution.
ये कोई तमाशा नहीं है. We are not taking Kashmir out from the country. You are governed by the country rule. You are governed by the country law. But what we say, we want to maintain our ethnic, cultural identity which we were having on the day when our state joined the rest of the country, that is 1947.
When the architects of India's constitution signed on the dotted line in 1950, Article 1 described Jammu and Kashmir as an integral part of the Indian Union, but Article 370 gave it a special status that no other state had. At the head of the state's interim government at this time was Sheikh Abdullah as Prime Minister and President Congress MP Karan Singh as its Sadr-e-Riyasat or head of state. At this time, Parliament's powers in the state were limited to communications, defence and external affairs. The details of the relationship were hammered out later in the Delhi Agreement of 1952 between Prime Minister Nehru and Sheikh Abdullah. The state would continue to have a Sadr-e-Riyasat equivalent to the governor of other states, but he would be elected directly by the state assembly and not nominated. The state would also have its own Prime Minister or Wazir-e-Azam. The state would have the powers to amend its own constitution. The Supreme Court would have only appellate jurisdiction. And if India's president had to declare an emergency, he could only do this in Jammu and Kashmir with the consent of its state assembly. But then suddenly the relationship between Nehru and Abdullah soured. Sheikh Abdullah was jailed in 1953, and this was the turning point. Today, 50 years later, in a valley torn apart by relentless violence, pro-independence processions like this one are commonplace. These separatists dismiss autonomy as an empty and meaningless word. But political historians say, go back far enough and there was a time when Azadi was not quite the street slogan.
Given some sort of arrangement by which people can have a feeling that they have some autonomous political space within the valley, I think again that might be one of the ways in which the discourse of Azadi can be marginalized and the discourse of autonomy can become the mainstream discourse.
Opposition to Kashmir's demand for autonomy isn't only from outside the state, it's also from within. In the regions of Jammu and Ladakh, there is a growing demand not for autonomy from New Delhi, but for greater freedom from the Kashmir Valley. The internal divisions have snowballed into a major controversy, with the RSS leading the demand for the state's trifurcation. Yet another political contradiction for the centre to navigate. In the heart of Jammu city, a temple and mosque stand shoulder to shoulder on the same plot of land, a small testimony to the heterogeneous nature of the region. But the past few years have seen the rise of a political movement that wants Jammu to be remapped and made into a separate state. A fringe movement that got new life after a recent RSS resolution backed the demand. Inside the state assembly, officially every party says it's against recarving the state into three parts. But in fact, there are no shortage of sympathizers.
मैं समझता हूँ कि संघ परिवार को तो एक हौवा बना दिया है आजकल विडंबना ये है कि किसी भी रियासत में अगर कोई भी बात, कोई अनहोनी चीज़ हो जाए तो वो कहते हैं ये संघ का काम है। संघ को इस ढंग से बदनाम करने की कोशिश है। संघ एक नेशनलिस्ट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है और मैं उस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का स्वयं सेवक हूँ और मुझे पूरा अपने पर मैं कहता हूँ कि मैं प्राउड करता हूँ कि मैं स्वयं सेवक हूँ। मैं पहले स्वयं सेवक हूँ, उसके बाद किसी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी का कार्यकर्ता हूँ।
लेकिन आरएसएस ही कह रही है,
आरएसएस नहीं कह रही है। जम्मू और लद्दाख के वो लोग जिन लोगों के साथ ज़्यादती हुई है, वो लोग जो इस पूरे टर्माइल में, इस पूरी 52 साल के इतिहास में जिनके साथ हमेशा ज़्यादती होती रही हैं, उन लोगों का एक माइंड बन रहा है कि ट्राइफिकेशन की बात करके हम जो भी हमारी स्टेट बनेगी उस स्टेट को हम ठीक ढंग से चला सके। ये वो लोग बात कर रहे हैं।
पिछला इलेक्शन ही गवाह है। जो पार्लियामानी चुनाव हुआ वहाँ बाई इलेक्शंस, वहाँ जो एक फ्रंट बना था जम्मू स्टेट हुड बनाने के लिए, उनको कितने 100 वोट मिले। मैंने ये सवाल उठाया था, राजौरी में नहीं मिला, पुंछ में नहीं मिला, डोडा में मिला। जम्मू शहर की गलियों में भी लोगों ने उन पर विश्वास नहीं किया। वो सबक था उनके लिए, लेकिन वो सीखने से इनकार कर रहे।
This time's elections, though, could well be different, as the battle lines between regions and communities get sharper and sharper. A campaign fought on allegations of neglect and discrimination may well touch a chord. Before 1947, Jammu was the seat of the ruling royal family and the epicenter of power. It was also the most populous region of the state. Partition altered the equations. Today, 52% of the state's population resides in Kashmir, 45% in the region of Jammu and the remaining in the third region of Ladakh. But here's just one example of how complex the demographics and politics of the state are. According to the last census, 10% of the population in the Kashmir region is in fact made up of nomadic, non-Kashmiri communities like the Gujars and the Paharis. Another 5% is made up of Kashmiri Pandits, pushed out of course by the violence. Across on the other side in Jammu, 66% of the population is Hindu, 4% Sikhs and 30% Muslims, but with little in common linguistically or politically with the Muslims of the Kashmir Valley. So the Kashmiri Muslim population is only 37% of the state's overall population, but entirely dominates political discourse and many allege the largest share of the development pie.
जम्मू का आज तो कोई मुख्यमंत्री नहीं बना, लद्दाख का कोई मुख्यमंत्री नहीं बना। जम्मू के लोगों को इस चीज की कमी लगती है। जम्मू के लोगों में आप अगर कैबिनेट में मिनिस्टर्स देखें तो कितने हैं? सर इतना ही नहीं, मैं बताऊंगा कश्मीरी लेजिस्लेटर्स और जम्मू के लेजिस्लेटर्स में भी डिस्पैरिटी है। मिलिटेंसी डिस्ट्रिक्ट डोडा में भी है, कश्मीर में भी है। डिस्ट्रिक्ट डोडा के एमएलए को दूसरी नजर से देखा जाता है। मैं यहाँ पे बताऊंगा कि यहाँ के हर लेजिस्लेटर के पास, इसलिए नहीं कहता हूँ, मैं डिस्क्रिमिनेशन की बात कह रहा हूँ, तथ्य रख रहा हूँ, पॉइंट बता रहा हूँ। हर किसी लेजिस्लेटर के साथ यहाँ पे 2 गाड़ियाँ सिक्योरिटी है।
These are the sentiments now being tapped into by groups like the Jammu Mukti Morcha. Across migrant camps and in the streets, autonomy here means not autonomy from India, but autonomy from Srinagar.
I am going to ask the Prime Minister to appoint a judge, to any judge that he wants to appoint, and let him then find out who has been at the receiving end of Jammu.
But in the past, there have already been several judges and several commissions. In 1968, for example, a commission recommended that if a chief minister belongs to one region, the deputy chief minister should come from the other. It also recommended that the number of cabinet ministers from Jammu and the Kashmir Valley must be equal. These were recommendations that were never implemented.
In fact, Ladakh has been the most backward region within the state, and till few years back there was no college in Ladakh. And the Ladakhi student had to come to the city of Srinagar to get educated, or to Jammu to be admitted to the colleges. Only few years back that the college has been given to Ladakh. and the feeling has been very strong, and the agitations have been taking place.
And now this is the fear. Feelings of discrimination could be exploited and may blow up into a communal divide, one that would only play into the hands of militant groups who have for years tried to divide the people of this state by their religions.
कुछ ना दे पाए आप हमें दिल्ली वाले, लेकिन एक चीज़ मैं गुजारिश करना चाहता हूँ पूरे मुल्क को, हमारे आपस में परेशानियाँ ज़रूर हैं, गिले शिकवे हैं, लेकिन हमारा इतिहास है भाईचारे का, हमारा नुंदरेशी रहा है जिसकी सब इज़्ज़त करते हैं हिंदू और मुसलमान भी। यहाँ ललदत रही है, आज भी उसकी इज़्ज़त मुसलमान करते हैं, हिंदू करते हैं। अगर आप हमें दे भी नहीं सकते हैं, लेकिन हमें तोड़िए मत। हम एक साथ जीना चाहते हैं, एक साथ रहना चाहते हैं, अपने इतिहास को बरकरार रखें।